What is up YouTube, and welcome back to another RiftGuides WildRift video. It's time for the newest patch, the 6.2 PBE rundown for the champion changes and everything we know up to this moment. So if you're interested in learning what is happening on the PBE, look at this video, take a look at the changes with me, and let's just start right with the very first change. On the left side, I'll show you the PBE changes. On the right side of the screen, you will be seeing the current version of these champions, but only if there's like massive changes that are not like, listed here as well. I will go into like showcasing them next to each other. But let's start with the first one of the hero adjustments for Swain. Let me get it all right here. Okay, perfect. Swain, hero adjustment. Swain's ultimate has always lacked some explosiveness, so we decided to make him play a greater role in sustained combat besides taking damage. At the same time, we also refactored the feel-in value of some skills to ensure that his strength is equal on all equipment and can be countered. So the thing is, don't forget this is a Chinese translation. There might be errors, so we have to kind of like fill the gap sometimes. But yeah, for the passive, the Soul Fragment restoration of HP sees an increase from 3 to 6 to now 2 to 5, but with a scaling of spell power. Yeah, it also gains a scaling of health, of spell power. So the difference here would be, like we have 6 as the highest, oh, forgive me, wrong pen. 6 as the highest here, and now it will be 5, but plus spell power. For AP Swain, that's going to be a lot more healing, but don't forget, like, he's a lot squishier anyway. But now, let's see the other changes. Second ability, Imperial Vision, detonation time. Like, this is now later, no? It's a little bit weird having it pop later, in my opinion. Okay. Devil's Radiance, which is his ultimate. Like, forget the names. We all know what it means, but yeah. Number of times you can release it once to unlimited times. Literally unlimited times. Cooldown between the two demonic flares, or like between each individual flare, is 6 seconds. Continuous damage per second goes down by 15 on the highest rank, 5 here, 10 here, and then 15 here, we see this here. And it has lower spell power scaling, from 20 to 15. Don't forget, Swain was also recently nerfed on the live server on his Q, I think it was 10% AP or 12% AP. So Swain in burst is weaker, like the first 1 to 6 seconds he is weaker, but the moment he gets a second explosion he's stronger, if you get what I mean. So like his damage profile is a little bit different. Okay, what's next? Varus. Varus currently has more synergy with some equipment than expected. I guess with some equipment he's not supposed to have like synergies. The passive attack speed gain what the hell? The passive attack speeds, I guess, caps. Like he just hits his attack speed cap, which then limits his equipment. And the high mix burst damage also makes it difficult for opponents to defend. Yeah, that's absolutely true. You can't build into Varus. Therefore, we hope that we can regain some of the traditional marksman positioning, maintain balance while being able to choose multiple styles, and provide a diverse experience. Okay. He gets updated icons. Cool. Passive skill. Desire for Vengeance. Defeating an enemy champion will increase attack speed by 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds. 60%, defeating a non-hero unit to 30%. So this is this passive here, you see? On the changes, when defeating a non-hero unit, gain 10 to 20% attack speed. Gain attack power and spell power equivalent to 1000% attack speed. This is PC Varus. That's going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting, like how powerful this champion becomes with this. When you participate in defeating an enemy hero, gain 50% of the upper limit attack speed. You gain attack power and spell power to the equivalent of 2500 of the additional attack speed. Like, these numbers look crazy, but you'd have to compare and look into the PC version to see similar numbers, or like the numbers there, and then compare it. Like, so far, the numbers, like the sheer size, the magnitude of the number looks very daunting. Like, it looks like crazy, like 2,500, like what the hell is that one? First ability, Piercing Arrow. Increases the damage of arrows and detonated wither by 0 to 50%, increases by charging time, and the adjusted damage is 20 to 170 with 125 to 60 to 240, 90 to 120. So let's compare this here really quickly. So we have Piercing Arrow cooldown is reduced by 4 seconds if the arrow detonates blight stacks on at least one champion. Piercing Arrow fails to release after 4 seconds, will refund 50% of the mana. So the change here we're having basically an adjustment. Like this looks weird. Like I don't like I don't have the PC translation at hand, like the PC version at hand right now. But does this mean that it also increases the wither, like the blight stack damage by 50% depending on the charge scale? Because Varus next patch, he doesn't have a Sense Reaver anymore that we know. So he loses a lot of his first item completion in terms of the typical Varus build. Okay, second item, Wither Quiver. Like this is Blighted Quiver basically. When detonating the Wither effect of a hero or epic monster, the remaining cooldown of basic cloak is reduced by 13 seconds, up to 39%. So basically they're moving this passive here, down here, to the Blighted Quiver. Okay, the damage of detonating Wither to wild monsters is capped. I don't think we have a current cap for monsters on Varus W, which makes it so easy for him to steal. Damage caused by normal attacks is being changed. Let me highlight this one. 12 to 24, 20% spell power to 9 to 30 and 35%. Oh my god, Nash's Tooth. Oh my god, Nash's Tooth is going to be crazy on this champion. That is going to be insane. Detonation mark percentage changes from 5 to 6.5 plus 0.1 to 3.5 to 5. So they increase the scaling and lower the flat damage here. They increase the on-hit damage, so they're pushing for on-hit Varus, as it seems. And the next piercing arrow is the active part. Deals additional magic damage of 8 to 16% of the target's lost health. Let's compare. 16 lost health. 8 to 16, yep. And increases to 0% to charge time. The next piercing arrow deals additional damage to 6 to 9% of the target's lost health and increases by 50, okay, of the charge time. Okay, so basically it goes like, so this is like a huge nerf, no? Like this must be a huge nerf. Or, no, it should be a nerf unless the 50% is like on this one here and on this one. Like, yeah, it must be related to this. Yeah, like because this 100% increase is a 50% increase, like from the translation, yeah? The bonus damage of passive attack is doubled, lasting 6 seconds, is removed. Okay, so what it seems to me is they want to push on-hit Varus. That's it, they want to push on-hit Varus. Very hard. That is what I believe they want to do. Okay, next up we have Zeri. Let me swap this already. Okay, Zeri, lovely translation. Zeri has been struggling lately, so we're shaping her skill set to regain some momentum. The problem with Zeri is not her struggling, it's her being blind picked. Zeri was a champion that was really powerful into heavy shielding. If the enemy doesn't have heavy shielding, you wouldn't pick Zeri. That's basically the point. Zeri's power has historically been tied to specific soft or support chanter. Like, I guess this is supposed to be enchanters, causing balance to be built around them. I mean, Vayne is the same, and etc. We want her to maintain similar power with most support partners, so we've removed the mechanics of linking with shields and moved the passive effect of the original first skill to the passive skill. To give her ultimate a bit more sparkle, we can now continue to refresh its duration, oh my god, it's so broken, by attacking enemies and utilizing the chain lightning effect splash damage of her ultimate. In addition, we also adjusted the critical hit benefits, currently low, and damage structure of Zeri's Varus skills to ensure her overall stability. Okay, this is a huge problem. So, again, quick little info. If your champion is a conditional pick, Zeri is good into shielding, and you want to have this champion now work as a blind pick, you will turn this champion absolutely broken. This champion will be broken, by definition, because the moment you turn a conditional character into a blind pick champion, the champion will be busted. That's it. Passive skill. Internal energy transfer. Remove 50% bonus movement speed after gaining a shield. This is this one here. The effect absorbing 6% of the damage taken by the enemy shield and absorbing into your own shield, also gone. New formerly first skill, this one here, you see. Fire 6 bullet in the target direction, dealing 8 to 16 and scales up to 110. Sorry, so normal attacks, 6 hits in the target direction, dealing 8 to 16 with the scaling from 1 to 110. Physical damage for first damage hit is now swapped to that one. So we see here 8 to 16, 100 to 110. This is all the same. The upper limit of attack speed is 1.5 per second, kept at 1%, 40% attack speed. Access will be converted. Is the access conversion here? Yeah, 50% is going to be converted. So this is all basically the same, so she loses her passive. Doesn't gain extra damage though from that one, as far as I'm seeing, right? Yeah, there's no extra damage. First ability, Electric. Defeating a target will refund 100% of the mana cost and 50% of the cooldown. The slowing effect decays during the duration. The passive effect of the skill has been removed to the like to the passive now. Okay, so here, this ability here, dealing magic damage, slowing them and dealing damage. If you farm with this now, you have a tool to poke the enemy champion, as well as getting a refund, similar to any as a champion, yeah? That can be very, very powerful in laning or just in short skirmishes. Like, in any of these situations, it will make her lane definitely a lot better, because you have lower cooldown on the spell that has super high range. The next change is one of the biggest changes. Brilliant Fireworks, which is the... oh no, sorry, let's go with the Ultra Shock Laser damage type, magical to physical damage. I think there's something missing here, there should be more. Turning it from magical into physical is a nerf, technically speaking, because people will most likely build armor in the games where you have this champ. Like, it just depends, like, do they have more armor, do they have more magic resist, but usually they have more armor. So in this instance, I would assume it would be enough. For the Brilliant Fireworks, which is the third ability, you deal additional damage now. This is something completely new. Deal additional 20 to 29 damage plus 10% attack damage plus 20% spell power magic damage to the first target hit. This damage will increase based on critical hit chance up to 100. That is new. Pardon me. The scaling of this ability from 50 to 95, you see it's still the same, 50 to 95, and it empowers free auto attacks. So the question is, does it still empower free auto attacks? It doesn't say so. I would assume so though. And yeah, it's just after the first target hit. So, oh wait, no, it's a buff here, sorry. So it scales up from 50 to 95, but no, it starts at 80 instantly and goes up to 95. Sorry, my bad. This is a huge buff for that ability, for the teamfight power, but Zeri, like, shotgunning in WildRift was a lot more difficult. She gained most value from Runans. So, like, we have to see how that one actually works, because I'm scared about maybe some interaction with the Runan's Hurricane and this here. But we will see. Adjustment when hitting an enemy champion with a normal attack, the cooldown is reduced by 1 second. Each time a normal attack or skill hits an enemy hero, the cooldown of the skill will be reduced by 0.5. When a critical hit is triggered, the cooldown will be reduced by 1.5 seconds. So, anything you do now grants you CDR on your movement spell. So you basically have Navori without having Navori. That's huge for Zeri as a champion to escape, go for plays, go for more proactive plays, giving you more options during laning. In synergy with her first ability, it's an insane buff. Okay, over like Lightning Crash, like the ultimate ability. Over the limit flash, it's called here. Cast and over, dealing electrical damage when it hits an enemy champion, gain 10% movement speed over 5 seconds, and an upper limit of 30% attack speed. So what do we have here? Zeri discharges electricity, dealing damage, gains movement speed. Movement speed here, and that's low-key it. It was previously stacking here, but now it's different. You just gain it immediately. The movement speed, no stack movement speed for that one required. Hitting enemy hero with a normal attack will refresh duration and gain 1 layer of overload for 1.5 seconds. If a critical hit occurs, 3 layers of overload will be gained instead, and each layer grants movement speed. So here, this is still the movement speed that you will gain from the past. So you had 5% movement speed when you hit an enemy champion for each champion hit. So you needed to hit 2 champions for the initial increase of 10%, which you now have instantly, right? Yeah. Normal attacks during this period become 3 quick bursts, gaining 25% attack speed and dealing bonus damage. What is the change? So the change is magical damage? From magical to physical, and a 5% ratio increase. And the Nova stacking mechanic is removed. So we have an insane laning phase buff with the luxury of being able to last it with Q, gaining 50% of the cooldown back, 100% of the mana. Huge, 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 huge. The third ability gets cooldown resets if we hit champions with all attacks or spells. Really huge as well. Makes it so much easier to play. And the ultimate gains better value for us on top. So yeah, I think this champion will be absolutely insane. Like, even here, like, normally when you have your second spell maxed, or like get points into your second skill, or like just 1 point investment here is a difference of 30% attack damage. Like 1 point, that's humongous. Okay, next we have Ashe. Next, we have Ashe. Ashe's passive mechanic had clarity issues. Early damage was hard to predict, and even with 100% crit chance, the bonus damage wouldn't be triggered if the enemy wasn't slowed. To make her ability clearer, the team refactored her passive. In addition to timing of the Ashe first ability is always difficult to grasp. So we don't want to give players too much pressure to choose the timing, so we reshaped its trigger mechanism and effect. Now she needs to stack the layers of skill 1 as quickly as possible to put out arrows. In the past, it was normal attacks on the passive here, put it side by side. Here, 10 to 100, plus 100, deal 10% of the target, and its damage is affected by the critical damage coefficient. Yeah, okay, so like here, the difference is the target doesn't have to be slowed anymore for the bonus damage to come into effect, so he lost like one auto attack. Like one auto attack was substantially weaker. The first ability, Shooter's Focus. Ranger's Focus, Shooter's Focus. Normal attacks add 1 layer of focus to the effect, which lasts for 4 seconds. You can cast this layer at 4 stacks. So you have it faster. Let me read again. Cooldown 7 to 4 seconds. The cooldown is also 7 to 4 seconds. No cooldown, but the Archer's Focus will not be accumulated while it's active. Okay, you can just basically spam it. So this spell will not have a cooldown anymore. Active for next seconds, normal attack. Consume focus and gain 25% attack speed. Gain 25% attack speed for 6 seconds. Maximum layers from 6 to 4. So this spell here will not have a cap anymore, so you can just spam it the moment it's up. That's a huge DPS increase, but does it fix the champion? The damage issue of the champion? I think we will be seeing actual Qmax Ashe now. Like, we'll see Qmax on this champion. Possibly. Jinx. Jinx late game mana limit often prevent her from using Fishbone to her advantage, and we don't want her mana consumption to be a limitation on her late game performance, or removing the limitation so she can wreak havoc. Passive skill, Guilty Pleasure, or Get Excited. When Guilty Pleasures trigger, 10% of lost mana is restored, but what's the point? Like, generally, what's the point? The moment we have passed 12 minutes, every blue buff is shared, and then Jinx doesn't have mana issues anymore. Like, the mana issue is literally saved with a mechanic that's already in the game, so I don't really understand what the point of this is. If anything, what about making Jinx Rocket Launcher cost less mana early game, like early levels where it's actually a problem, or have the mana consumption change a little bit better as you put points into the spell, or give her more mana regen, like anything like this, because I think this here is pretty whatever, unless there's more that is not listed here, which might be the case. Misfortune. Oh man, Misfortune's passive has been underperforming since the last adjustment. To strengthen her role as a burst marksman, we are shifting some of her sustained damage capabilities to burst and increasing the perceived power of a passive trigger. New passive, Favor of Doom or Love Tab. When 3 layers are stacked, the target will suffer 30 plus 75% attack power times the amount of crit chance you have, physical damage. Okay, so we're basically going full circle. We're going back to a combination of the recent Misfortune passive in the old Misfortune passive. Like, either you have like this bonus on hit thing where your champion does more damage, just raw more damage, or you have like every hit on that target and then you just swap targets, deals extra damage like the old Misfortune passive. It's kind of cooked. It's so weird to me. Depending on how this one is executed, as well as in combination with the other spells she has, this can be a very interesting thing in terms of burst damage. But then again, why don't we just go back to the old Misfortune passive? Like, quite literally, why don't we just go back? I really don't understand, but yeah, I don't have to. I think this is still weaker than the first version of Misfortune passive, because, let me whip out my drawing skills here. Like, this is you, Misfortune. This is you shooting a Q. This is the target you hit, then this is the target again. This target will take the passive damage. This target will take the passive damage. Then, because you proc it on the second target, the first one will reset again. So you will have a double passive proc on the first target with just Q auto. Like, or AA Q auto. Like, you will have 2 procs on the first target, which is probably the highest damage, which I think in the past was higher than this. So yeah, kind of confusing, but it's Riot Games after all. Vayne. Vayne's second mechanism is too expensive to understand, and it's too strong against high health heroes in the early game. I'm talking about you, top lane Vayne. Yeah, but bro, this champion does no damage. Even in top lane, it just doesn't do anything. Like, you just get ganked once and you can't play the game anymore. Like, literally, that's the problem of like ranged top lane champions, apart from Varus. It's just too difficult to maneuver them, and if the enemy has like a few brain cells, it's just over. Like, for example, Set, the big guy with the fists, yeah? He has so much health regen that Vayne in early game actually struggles doing anything to him. And the moment he's touching her, she dies. I don't know why we try to explicitly balance ranged top lane champions when it doesn't have to happen. Therefore, we decided to adjust the mechanism of skill 2 and make it less demanding on the timing of activation. Holy crossbow adjustment. The next 3 attacks within 5 seconds increase attack speed from 40 to 55, and 40 to 55 of the damage caused by skills will be reduced to restore health. Now you gain 15 to 30% attack speed and 10% all-around lifesteal lasting 3 seconds. So this is above the moment Vayne gets more attack speed. Like, the moment Vayne gets more attack speed, this is really good. Like, really powerful. Like, really, really, really powerful. Because you have to think about this. Like, 5 seconds and 3 auto attacks. That's nothing. Yeah? But having 3 seconds, like a 3-second attack speed buff, as well as this lifesteal from that one, from 3 seconds on a high attack speed champion, on a duelist like this is a huge change. Like, far bigger than people might believe it is. And in comparison here, we have that on the live server, you see here, 40% of the damage, and then scales up. Sadly, we don't see the scaling. But yeah, that's it so far. I'll make a video on the item changes, but again, bear with me, it's going to be Chinese translation, so there might be a few things that will be very confusing to see, confusing to read. I'll be like, huh, what am I even reading? How does it make sense? But then we'll explore it together, so don't you worry, we got this, and see you soon for more content.